the worst advice I ever got was that I should, to save money for my clients, I should drive a broke down vehicle. It's like, what dumb advice? Like, why am I listening to it?
Yeah, like that Martyr Syndrome of like, like I'm just so selfish and sacrificing for all these people, and we're definitely too smart to just let yourself be taken advantage of it in order to make your customer happy. Like you will be the average of your 5 closest friends. So if your 5 closest friends, if you're the smartest one, you're being pulled down. So yeah, top 3 or top 5, whatever we can come up with as far as worst advice. Because I feel like when you're going into business, you get all these people telling you, oh, you should do this, oh, you should do that. And some of it is like really piss poor advice. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, hire Ryan. Great, great advice. Nobody told you should. You just did it on your own.
Yeah, I did it all on my own. I made a lot of good choices on my own. Yeah.
So before we get too deep into it, like how do you have anything like you can say like, okay, this was really bad advice. This was okay. Financing. So debt, we'll just say, like, hey, yeah, just go ahead and finance it. Your growth will cover it or something like that.
Yeah. A bias advice from a lender. That was bad advice. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Everyone's doing it. Yeah.
Everyone's doing it.
Everyone's doing it. $250,000 later. Yeah.
Man. So, and unfortunately that's just like a good month now, but it doesn't come all at once, so you can just pay that off and okay, so don't go into debt.
Well, no,
pull out.
That's good advice. Yeah, pull out. Yeah.
You can get away with
don't drop the baby.
Don't shake the baby. Don't drop the baby. You can get away with having just one. That's my alcoholic past coming back.
What's one more drink?
Yeah. What's
I just learned this lesson recently.
Oh man, that's a long conversation for off camera.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
One more couldn't hurt.
Oh, I know. Hiring experts. Hiring guys with lots of experience. Because a lot of them.
But that wasn't advice though. That was a voice in my head.
Okay.
I was just following streamline what I thought. That wasn't advice. So we got to start this podcast off with the worst advice I ever got was.
Just put it on a credit card. You'll pay it back later.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
You can't afford not to take this loan.
You can't afford not to. Yeah. What is the worst advice I've ever heard?
They'll change.
In life or business? Yeah.
It can be,
it all ties together, right? Worst advice. Oh, here it is for business. The worst advice I ever got was that I should, to save money for my clients, I should drive a broke down vehicle.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
I had some
Mike rolling around in the free candy van.
I had the van was a blessing, but I had clients that wanted me to stay in that van because they knew it saved them money, and I was doing them a service. And I that's part of the reason it took, because we had the money the first year to upgrade our vans, but I was stubborn with that. Like, no, this is what customers want.
Yeah.
And
yeah, wow. And that leads into the whole concept of like doing things just for perception, not reality. Because
and being nice, yeah.
You wanted to be perceived as the affordable plumber.
I was a people pleaser still at that point, right? So there was a lot of that was still.
Luckily, he's outgrown that.
I've definitely outgrown that. There was definitely a point there where, the customer's always right. I was falling back into my old retail roots, and we've talked about that before. But
worst advice number 2: the customer's always right.
Yeah, the customer's always right. So I was still in that mindset. So when I was told that by more than one, like it's great. Yeah, just and I was telling them about how I got this free van and this is what I was doing. They're like, that's awesome. Just keep up the good work. And I'm like, yeah, just my tail's wagging while I'm leaving the house and I'll get it myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just, I'll do the books in the morning and I'll be a mechanic in the evening and, and then a plumber during the day. And it's not a big deal. And here you guys, I'm saving you money. I was like, what dumb fucking advice? Like, why am I listening to it? Just because it's making me feel good. It made me feel good. I mean, it's a real thing,
Yeah, like that martyr syndrome of like, like I'm just so selfish and sacrificing for all these people and just taking all this on myself.
Yeah.
No, that's not well, one,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
not
die on this sword. Yeah.
yeah, we're not called to live lives like that as Christians or anybody else, and we're definitely too smart to just let yourself be taken advantage of it in order to make your customer happy. No.
Next worst advice. Smoke cigarettes, they're cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, smoke cigars, they don't have all the chemicals of cigarettes,
Yeah.
right? Like,
I
no.
typed it in on Google, it's gotta be true.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, chat says it's very healthy. Um, as an aside, Ashley refers to chat as her doctor, her dietitian, her business consultant. So,
Oh,
yeah, she just puts everything in chat, and she's
it'd
like,
just be easier to put
"Yeah,
a name to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
my well, it's
Tammy or
Chet
something.
Chet the chat."
Oh, Chet's a Chet, yeah. Isn't he a reindeer or something?
Yes,
Isn't that is
Chet's
it
a special reindeer
isn't it a
in
special
something.
reindeer? Is that off the Santa Claus movie, isn't it Chet? Is it little
That was really good. That was really good. Oh, man, that takes me back. We watched the
It
Santa
takes you
Cla
back to early 2000s,
we
holy smokes, yeah.
so, worst advice, a little debt's not
We
gonna
we we gotta keep
a little
one
debt's
up
not gonna
and
hurt you.
yeah, a little debt's not gonna hurt you, yeah.
Yeah.
And so now I battled with that one too, because raised kind of following Dave Ramsey,
Yeah.
and then trying to follow other influencers at that point in time, which was this was a few years ago when I was listening to more of them, and they're like used and leveraged credit card debt, and so you dive down that path, and your algorithm matches it, and they're like, okay, you can buy this credit card, and then you can use it to
Pay off this
you,
credit card.
this one, and then you get like $400 back, and you're just making free money,
Yeah, it's free money.
and I could have some of that stuff was like, oh yeah, credit cards and loans and things, and I've been smarter about it now, but there was a time when it was like, well, yeah, this is how you run business. You got to have a business credit card, and I think there definitely is a use for it, but I think it could have gone a little bit longer before we did something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, gone a little bit longer, but built some more, credit, for your score and also built some, equity and things like that.
But
Uh,
some of those things too, they happened. We had to get a credit card, or it felt like it because customers didn't pay. Right, we were
mm,
fighting through all that time, and so we wouldn't have survived, we wouldn't even been in business if we hadn't had a credit card at that time too.
yep,
And
yeah.
even some of this recent funding that I screwed around with, and the guy was like, "Well, yeah, this will be perfect. I'll have it in your bank account tomorrow."
Still got your kneecaps, I see.
And yeah, and I was worried about that at the time. But you have it in your bank account tomorrow, and you should be able to pay it off in this amount of time. And then I was like, "Whew!" After the end of the year of paying that one off, you realize how much it cost you, and you could have bought a second house.
Ooh, that's where it really hurts is the opportunity cost, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, what could I have done to further my business, my life, my, the world if I hadn't been paying interest on stuff, especially high interest stuff. So, yeah, a little debt, no big deal, but making sacrifices for in the future self for, easy now,
Yeah.
because that's what that's where you go from like, okay, this debt's essential to, okay, this debt's just going to make it easier right now, and that's where you can really it's just too easy to get credit now.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So,
it's very easy, and it's hard to get out of it. We're learning
mhm.
that one.
Yeah.
What was the worst advice you ever got in high school?
Ooh, in high school, that's a good question. Uh, you're joining the army. Your grades don't matter. uh, I don't even remember any advice I got in high school. So it's probably, I don't know if it's that I was not hanging around with the right people or um, just just such a dumbass that I don't even remember the advice I got.
Yeah.
Um,
Must have been really good.
yeah, public high school in Gunnison, Colorado. Uh, I remember Mr. McCarthy. He had like his pinky finger was longer than his index and ring finger. He looked like a mutant, but um,
Like
he
the long fingernail, like on my
he
pinky, and
no, it was the whole finger was
like
long. It was
scraping up dabs or something.
he was inbred or something, but
Inbred.
but he gave me he gave me knocked some points off one of my essays because as a fellow Scotsman, he goes, you didn't even spell your name right. And I was like,
Oh,
what?
he's a Scotsman.
I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you didn't capitalize the K in your last name. And I was like, oh. And that stuck with me because I was like, yeah, take your time, do things right. And especially when it's got your name on it. So I guess that's indirect advice. Yeah, that's all the only advice I remember from high school.
Well, I was trying to remember why
You
you were
didn't go to high
talking.
school, so
Yeah. Maybe that was the worst advice I did get was
yeah.
you should go to high school just so you could join the football team. And I pushed so hard
Yeah.
to go, and I wasn't allowed to. And I'm glad that I didn't. But at the time, it was like, "Well, I have to.
So you grew up wanting to go to you were in high school, you wanted to go
It was about a year.
you were homeschooled, you wanted to go to high school.
No, I loved homeschooling, and then it was 1 year, I would think it was in 10th grade, and I had finally become somewhat popular.
Well,
Uh,
and you were, 6 foot plus, and they're like, "You should play
and
football."
I was in good shape, and I was jogging. I used to jog every morning with the principal, and he would run
Hey,
marathons.
when you're homeschooled, the principal is your mom.
No,
So
not the principal from the high school, and we'd get to talking, and he goes, "Well,
"Oh, you should come out for the
you
football
should
team."
come join the football team."
That's how principals talk.
And I was like, "Well, yeah, I just want to be desired, and this is cool, right?" And then I was like, "I'm gonna go to high school," and mom and dad were like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "I am. Why didn't you guys love me?" And I was like, "That's it. I'm leaving. I'm going out on my own." I was a big stink for ages. I was so angry, and then 5 years later, I'm so glad that I didn't. I'd have torn something or broke something or got somebody pregnant. It would have been just a disaster. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows where your life could have ended up then, they wouldn't have been, breaking into hardware stores and stuff like that. Who knows? Who knows? That's for the Mike's private files. We're gonna do a podcast that's just all like stuff that nobody knows about Mike.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other bad advice I've been given. Well, I know one is like, you got a good job. Don't mess it up by going off and starting your own company.
Yeah.
You
You just had one really pushy person in your life that was like, do the opposite.
No, I had this great customer who I was telling him, okay, so let's do this SEO. Let's build your brand online. And he asked me, he said, what would you do if it was your business? And I said, well, I would do it myself. I'd manually do the SEO and stuff. And he was like, hey, why don't you do that? And the rest is history. Here I am sitting next to Mike.
Yeah. You got a ranch now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oceanfront property.
In Arizona. So I want the audience to chime in on this because I've talked to several people about coming on as a guest because we're so popular now. I'll get your feedback too, but I want to get them in the comments telling us who they want to have on as a guest. So if you know somebody around here or that we could zoom in for an interview, who would you interview in our immediate 50-mile radius that you'd like to talk to?
I don't know whether I have anyone that I'd like to talk to.
I talk to everybody I like to, so Kyle included.
Yeah. I don't know. You can't put me on the spot like that. I can't remember names when you do that.
No, yeah, that's right.
I just can't.
I forget not everybody has my superpower.
Are we going to do it with the new setup? So there's three of us.
Yeah, we
could probably all
figure out.
fit around this table. I think we do it right.
I'll just stand the whole time awkwardly. Hey guys, how you doing?
Stand in the background, just shouting stuff.
All right, so yeah, those of you out in YouTube land, put something in the comments.
I really would like to, Don Martin. I think it would make a really good podcast. We haven't done that one yet. But...
Yeah, he's always got stories for days.
Oh, he does. Yeah, you wouldn't have to talk at all.
Right. Well, and then back in 76, I started a plumbing company. What?
Yeah.
I've known you for 3 years and
Yeah.
you've never told me you were a plumber?
Yeah. While he owned 3 newspapers and was
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right, Don, you've been challenged. We'll send you the details. Uh, and I'm sure he could give us some bad advice, right?
Well, he's definitely lived it. I don't know whether he's given it yet, but yeah.
Yes, that's a whole other topic. So, worst advice, little debt never hurt anybody. What else did now I'm totally blank. What else did we talk about? Oh, don't quit your day job. It's too comfortable and secure.
Going on top won't get you pregnant.
Yep. Feels better if you don't pull out. That wasn't advice, I don't think.
Spur of the moment, you know?
This brings up an important point for all of you out there. Advice is like assholes. Everybody's got one and it all stinks. Yeah.
Yeah. Do what's right for you, and and don't just adapt and conform to somebody else that's in the wrong position, right? If you're
Yeah,
going to take
absolutely.
advice, which is even what we were talking about earlier, trying to surround yourself with people where you're not the smartest guy in the room, which is a conversation I had with a friend here recently where I heard that, and they said that they were the smartest one in their friend group, and
You're like, that's a bad sign.
that is it's a really bad sign, you know, and it's like I take pride in the fact that I'm not, and it's
What?
not just because of how I
can
think about
guess
myself.
who said that.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you have to be really cautious of because it's an easy place to fall into. And then next thing you know, when you're trying to make changes, then that dynamic switches. So you're not just changing friends, you're also changing a huge dynamic from where how people see you and perceive you, right? Um, and so you have to let go of a lot more. Once you've created something like that, it's really hard to let go of it and create a whole new friend group of where you can bounce ideas. And I'm not afraid when you give me advice, we do banter back and forth, but we're also usually on the same wavelength, or we've got 2 different perceptions and how we're looking at it. And that is valuable. Sometimes I'm stubborn and set in my ways, and sometimes you are in yours. And then we usually, we
Yeah.
either adapt and change or we just go our, separate ways for the 2 hours we don't see each other,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Uh,
You take a trip to Alabama for 3 weeks or something, right?
yeah, and it's something that it's
That
really
probably sounds totally random if you don't know us. No.
it could be random, yeah. But it's one of those things that we've got set up now, and it's nice because you can actually get good advice when just listening,
Mm,
and you go, "Huh, I could try that." You
yeah.
don't have to brag about what you're doing, because
Yeah.
after a while, when you're that awesome, it's really hard to talk about yourself that much, and so it's really enjoyable to sit in a place and not have to kind of, you know, steal the show, I guess to say, yeah.
So you don't feel like you have to talk about yourself as much anymore?
Yeah, no, no, kinda fixed it, yeah.
Yeah, well, there you
That's why I started smoking, that way I don't get
go.
yeah.
Just put something in your mouth to shut it up. That's what she said. Um, yeah, when you have the confidence and um, self-esteem that you don't have to be the smartest guy in the room and you can just shut up and listen, and you can be around people who are much more successful than you and just listen. That's the best advice I could give to anybody
Well, it's a
is just
proven
go sit.
fact scientifically whether you,
Science.
what am I trying to say? It's when you listen well, you learn better, right? So
Sounds like science to me.
listening skills are, it's you're practicing that learning part,
Mm,
and,
yeah.
um, and you can absorb it. It's kinda like learning how to read a book and take something out of it, not just scrolling through the pages. Having conversations it's definitely similar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think well, when you said that, it's scientifically proven, I thought you were going to say like you will be the average of your 5 closest friends. You'll basically be average with there. So if your 5 closest friends, if you're the smartest one, you're being pulled down, not being pulled up. You
Yeah.
know, if
Yeah.
you go out and find some smart, successful people to hang out with, they'll pull you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Well,
Kyle,
I
what
didn't
was?
know that was science based. I
Oh, it
was,
is.
yeah.
It's science based.
Huh.
It's what do you call
Yeah.
that? Um,
68% of your friends will pull you down 32% of the time.
no, a great example of what you're talking about as far as like us going back and forth was just yesterday talking about how to present pricing to customers. And, do you give them all the information or do you just give them what they need? And how do you make it available to them? Do you, put it out over blast it out over the airways or say, no, you have to sit down with my technician and get the full presentation and if you want the price. And that was kind of a good back and forth. And, we even had a couple of the other guys in
And that
on
was
it.
a stolen idea, right? That idea
There
came
you
from
go.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And if I had, and that's from a company doing what I would consider better than us or, close to it, right?
They're
So
farther along the
they're
path.
further along in
Yeah.
the journey. So that's where I took that from.
Mhm.
But if I went and asked the same advice from, you know, Joe's plumbing shop down the road, I don't think there's one of those here, so I should be good. Um,
I'm sure there's
he
a
would
Joe
be
the plumber
he would be
here.
like, well, no, you can't do that. This is how you should word it, right? So I could go back to that level, but I don't want to be at that level. So it works like that in business too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at the people who
And you got to know where you want to be, right? So if that's the same 5 group of friends, they're fun to hang out with, but you wouldn't want to be them. You'd be taking marital advice from,
the divorce guy.
yeah. Well, now that's not right either. Now, because I could give some really good advice, but
This is what not to do.
yeah, learned lessons, right? But yes, yeah, it's one of those things that definitely I would say not from the divorce guy standpoint, getting marital advice from someone that's never been married. That would probably be a better way to say that because I feel
Yeah.
like I give pretty good marital advice.
I
So
don't
don't
know
need
if
to
you've
offend me.
given me marital advice. Let's keep it that way. No, I'm just joking.
Uh,
No. I think I'm all advised out. I'm all out of coffee and all out of advice. And
well, you haven't been here very long.
I like to keep it in short spurts so you miss me.
Oh, is that what she said too?